Hello, Boston. My name's Ayaska Machado. I'm a third-year apprentice here at Local 537. I'm a proud graduate of Building Pathways, Cycle 24. A little bit more about me. I'm a single mother striving to build a better future for my kids. I'm an active member of my local union, and I'd like to say thank you to the incredible support here at Local 537. Having the support of my local brothers and sisters have made my life at work and at home a lot easier. And it means a lot to me. So thank you, everyone. Here at Local 537, I'm co-chair of the Women's Committee, and I am vice president of my apprenticeship class. I'm also an active member of Tradeswomen Building Bridges, Building a Stronger Boston, and the Tradeswomen Task Force, just to name a few. Being involved and being here for each other and doing our best to show up and fight the good fight is why all of this is possible. And thank you everyone for being here this morning and helping support us continue this important work. Welcome to 537. It is my esteemed privilege to introduce our panel this morning. Our first guest is our union brother, our ally, and our friend, Brian Doherty, the general agent of the Boston Building Trade Unions. Brian has been a proud member of Laborers Local 223 for over 25 years. Let's give Brian a warm welcome to the stage.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Ayaska. Oh, you're awesome. Sorry. You're good. You're good.
All right.
Help you.
All right.
He asked me to sit down.
Okay. It is now my great honor to invite our next guest to the stage. But before I do, I'd like to say a few words of our very special guest this morning, Vice President Kamala Harris. We do not have a better example of someone who stands up for what is right, who stands up for working people, and who always supports our movement here in Boston and across the country. Vice President Harris has been a champion of registered apprenticeships her entire career. Going back to her time in San Francisco as a district attorney, Vice President Harris is the chair of the White House Task Force on Worker Organizing, which implemented over 70 actions across the government to make it easier for workers to exercise their rights in the workplace. And earlier this fall, Vice President Harris announced the first update to prevailing wage rules in 40 years, which will give raises to construction workers across the country. It took 40 years, but not on her watch. She fights, she gets things done, and she's a fighter for all of us. Please join me in giving a very warm union welcome to our very special guest, our Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. Can we hear it for Ayaska?
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Oh, it's good to be in the House of Labor, and it's good to see so many friends. Brian, it's good to be with you.
Great to be with you, Vice President.
So we got a lot to talk about, but let me just start by thanking everybody here. You all are the motivation for Joe Biden and me to do the work that we have done and will continue to do. We'll get into some of the accomplishments that we have done together. A lot of it, though, has been about investing in America and investing in the workers of America. everything that we have done that has been transformative and historical in terms of our accomplishments, be it what we have done on the infrastructure bill and what we are doing to build back up and fortify America's infrastructure, to what we did with the Inflation Reduction Act, which is about an investment in new economies. Everything we accomplished when we were writing down the ideas and the plans is because we knew if we got it done out of DC, we were going to toss it to you all to see it through. That was the plan, knowing if we could get that stuff done in DC through these bills and all of that, you all would be here to pick it up and make it real. You have the skill, the talent, the will, the passion, the ambition to see it through. It's an extraordinary partnership, and we could not have accomplished any of it without the brothers and sisters of labor, building trades, and across the labor movement. So I am so happy to be with everybody today, and I just wanted to start by again saying thank you on behalf of the President and me and our country. Thank you all.
Let's hear it for our Vice President. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Vice President. We are so excited to have you here in Boston with us, a proud Union City.
Yes.
And before we start, I'd just like to say thank you to the incredible team here at Local 537, to Danny O'Brien and Paul McGrath, and to your team, Vice President. They came in and they set this entire room up. Let's give a warm round of applause for our hosts and everybody who put into today. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, Danny.
So this is an exciting day. We have the Vice President of the United States right here in the Union Hall in the city of Boston, Pipefitters Local 537. So in this room, Vice President, as you know, this is our Greater Boston Labor Movement headed by our champion, Darlene Lombos. Let's hear it for Darlene and the labor movement here in Boston.
Hi. Good to see you. Hi.
And what I wanted to open with is pretty simple. Vice President Harris, President Joe Biden, they have done their part. They have done their job to get people back to work, to give people a chance in America. Let's hear it for this administration and how much they do. One more round of applause for our great Vice President, please. Thank you, Kamala. Thank you, Vice President.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Madam Vice President, you've had an amazing career supporting workers at every point across your career. When you were the District Attorney of San Francisco, the Attorney General of California, an amazing United States Senator fighting the good fight. And then as Vice President, you have stood by unions. You have stood by workers in America your entire career. Can we ask you this morning, why has it been so important to you personally, and why so important for this administration to continue that work?
So I'll start with this. I believe that all labor, all work has value, and that all working people deserve to be acknowledged for the value that they offer all of us. I believe in the dignity of work and the importance of workers receiving through wages and benefits the recognition of what they do. And so the work that I have done throughout my career has been side by side with labor, recognizing the importance of the labor movement, recognizing the fact that without unions, look, whether you've never been a part of a union or have been a member of a union, thank unions for the 5-day week. Thank them for the 8-hour workday. Thank them for sick leave, for any paid family leave,
Absolutely.
for vacation time. Brought to you by unions for all workers, whether or not you're a member of a union or not. There's also this piece that is fundamentally a piece that really is about what's right and what is just. When you think about collective bargaining. So collective bargaining, here's the bottom line about what that's about. In any negotiation, right, and SAG-AFTRA, congratulations, IATSE, congratulations on what you guys just accomplished. The culinary workers just struck a deal, right? We're seeing it across. And wages are going up as a result of all those negotiations, by the way. Collective bargaining. If we all agree that in any negotiation, the outcome should be fair, right? Everyone should start there. In any negotiation, the outcome should be fair. Well, when you're dealing with one worker against a company, against a corporation, do we think that outcome of that negotiation is going to be fair?
No way.
It won't be, because of the disparity of power. So collective bargaining is about saying, let the workers have a voice as a collective, all together, representing each one of them as a group, and then go into that negotiation, because then you start to equal out the balance in terms of power in a way that the outcome will be fair. That's what collective bargaining is about. That's what worker organizing is about. It's about saying we should never require that one working man or woman to be having to argue for themselves, to fight for themselves without their brothers and sisters standing with them as a collective to just get what's fair. That's what this is about. So fundamentally for me, it's about the dignity of work. It's about what is fair in recognizing the value of workers.
It's amazing. Let's hear it for our Vice President with that response. Thank you, Vice President. In this room today, we have some leaders who've been doing this work for a long time. We have some brand new leaders, too, who've been fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
And what I want to say about this room here, and the folks in the room know it, the Greater Boston Labor Council and the unions are represented here, and then there's an entire team out there fighting the good fight outside the building, too. And what this room represents, as you know well, is the front line against income inequality, making sure that we develop, or we build, or someone comes into the construction project we just built and has their career for their next 30 or 40 years. This is a simple piece of fairness that the Vice President just mentioned. Either every single one of those jobs turns into the ability to put food on the table, to provide some health care benefits, to provide some dignity and retirement, or without the power of unions, it's going to turn into profits for somebody else. Shareholder dividends, stock options. What this room represents, what this administration represents, is making sure American workers have a chance again, to put the power back into unions, to invest in unions, and to invest in our communities. So let's hear it for our communities, absolutely, and the union movement. So, Vice President, some of our leaders in the room with us, I'd like to, go to a question from the crowd.
Yeah.
I'd like to turn to Eric Pires, an apprentice with IBW Local 103. Let's hear it for Eric, everybody. Union brother right here from Dorchester.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is Eric Pires. I've been a member since 2020 of IBEW, Local 103. I'm a fourth-year apprentice, and I'm an alumni of Building Pathways of the Cycle 21.
Let's hear it for Building Pathways.
And I want to say good afternoon to Madam Vice President.
Thank
Just
you.
want to thank you for being here. And my question is, apprenticeships, opportunities for me and people of my community have been very crucial on progressing in life, and also giving us that opportunity to chase our goals and pursue our goals.
Yeah.
With that being said, we know that you've been an advocator and an avid supporter of the trades and apprenticeships, and we wanted to ask you, you've been an avid supporter of the apprenticeship programs, especially union-based programs. I'm sorry, I apologize. And what I want to ask you are thoughts about why you think apprenticeships are so important, and what are you planning on doing in the future for apprenticeships, nationwide?
All right.
Good
Thank
question.
you for that question, and thank you for your
Great
leadership.
job, Eric.
Well done. It's about you and all of the apprentices who are here and those who are in the pre-apprenticeship program. It's about building up the skills of America's workforce, so we can take care of the people of our country and working people, but also so we can lead around the globe. There is so much about the agenda that the president and I have that is about strengthening the working people of America, building the middle class, building up our infrastructure, building up the ability of all people to be able to have the benefit of their hard work, be it wages and benefits or pensions and retirements. But it's also about our ability and need to be able to compete around the world. right? Well, so one of the best pipelines to get to that end, forgive my pipelines, get it?
We appreciate it.
You have to deal with my
It's in the
sense of
name.
humor. Are the pre-apprenticeship programs and the apprenticeship programs. Those are hard programs. Those are difficult programs. Those are long days and often some nights working to build up extraordinary skills. I have visited I'm on a mission. I don't know if I'll accomplish it, to visit every IBEW local in America. Let me tell you.
What a goal.
When I visit the apprenticeship programs and I see the extraordinary skills that include, it's about complex math, it's about engineering, it's about science, it's about thinking about how do we apply technology to the work we have traditionally done that has been about building up and fortifying our country. And to watch a young person enter an apprenticeship program from the time of the pre-apprenticeship program and to watch that path, which I know so many of us have seen, that builds up not only the skills, but the confidence and the swagger of that young person as you go through the program is so wonderful to see. So it is about developing very, very complex skills, highly skilled individuals and workers. But also what I love about our apprenticeship programs is it's about family. One of the beauties of the nature and the character of unions is it is, as I said earlier, about the collective, but understand in that, the collective is about family. So yeah, it's about you not just being at the bargaining table by yourself, but also not being in life by yourself. Right. The people who train you and who develop your skills, they are people who are invested in you as a human, as a person. It's about the creation of community. And that's so important. You know, as I travel our country, there are some powerful forces, so-called leaders, extremists, who have as part of their agenda to try and divide our nation, have as their agenda to try and make people feel alone, to have people live in fear. And at this moment in time, I think about the culture and the movement, the labor movement in a number of ways, including the importance of building community and reminding people they're not alone. It's really important. It's important. And so that's how I think about the apprenticeship programs. And so part of what the president and I have done and our administration has done intentionally with all of the labor leaders who are here, I mean, Boston, a good old labor town, is to write into and to build into our policies that apprenticeship programs will very much be the way to go to build up the workforce to then do the work that we have funded. Think about it. We have on, for example, lead pipes. So the work you're doing in apprenticeship programs includes training pipe fitters, who are and the work and plumbers and everybody. So the work that we have done on lead pipes has been this. For years, the grandparents, the parents in communities like Flint, Michigan, have been crying out because their babies are drinking toxic water out of lead pipes. And they've been saying, we may not be scientists or doctors, but we know there's a connection between the water coming out of those pipes and the health outcomes for our children, including an impact on their learning ability. And by the way, lead pipes were not just in low-income communities, communities of color. They were all over America. But see, in communities with high rates of home ownership, where people have a little extra money in their savings account, they could then come out of pocket or take some equity out of their home to replace those pipes. People in low-income communities, renters, didn't have that kind of latitude and luxury. And so you see then we're talking about the inequity of who then suffered in which communities and which children then were invariably impacted by the lead coming out of those pipes. So our perspective was, it's a public health issue. Government has 3 roles: public health, public education, and public safety. Public health, it's a public health issue if the children of America are drinking toxic water that is impacting their ability to learn. So we decided it should not just be on that individual to replace those pipes. We as the government should invest in the replacement and the removal of all those lead pipes. Because of what you all did in 2020, because Joe Biden is President of the United States, I'm Vice President of the United States, we are on track with your partnership removing every lead pipe in America.
Unreal.
And so the apprenticeship program and bringing more young people into the apprenticeship programs means building up the workforce that's going to get rid of all those lead pipes with the $15 billion we have invested in getting that job done. We're counting on you. We're counting on you. And the way that you're going to come into the workforce with the incredible skills that will do that is through the apprenticeship program. There you go.
Absolutely. You know, if we take a moment to think about it, you know, a lot of people have talked about infrastructure investment for a long time. The Biden-Harris administration got it done. Not only that, but they didn't just talk about built infrastructure. They talked about human infrastructure. What happens to the jobs? What happens to the people? Who are we investing in? They are investing in every American. We have so many graduates here today and union brothers and sisters from the Building Pathways program. Yeah. Let's hear it for Building Pathways. And a friend of ours, a lot of friends in this room, Marty Walsh, a friend of our great vice president, when he came back to Boston,
Marty.
Our pal Marty, he said, listen, one word, she's unbelievable. That's what he said when he came back to Boston.
Brother.
He's the best.
Yeah.
But this program, Building Pathways, it was this idea. How do we make sure that every career in America is a good career?
Yeah.
And how do we make sure that everyone has access to them?
Right.
And it was simply put, going to communities, into neighborhoods, telling people about what unions do and what they represent as the organized labor movement, to invest in each other, invest and fight with each other. As we were walking up, she said, we haven't gotten anything we didn't fight for. So we have an incredible fighter on the stage. And I also think that we have an incredible group of fighters in this crowd.
Yeah.
One of them here with us this morning, our union sister, Shantae Carney. If we can call on Shantae for the next question. We have another question from Shantae right here, Vice President.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother B. Good afternoon. My name is Shantae Carney, proud member of Labor's Local 223.
Say it for 223, yeah.
I've been with them for 10 years, thank God. And I also am a graduate from Building Pathways program, Cycle 8.
VP.
So good afternoon, Madam Vice President.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And thank you for your advocacy and your effort. We highly appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So for starters, I'm going to ask a question, but I'm going to tell you guys why this question is so important to me. I'm going to share that with you. One of my first jobs, I was like one of 3 women. That's accurate, right? Like one of 3 women on the job. And then it was like a handful of minorities. And it was cool because I still felt protected. I still learned, I still earned money, but it wasn't okay that my people, I didn't mirror, my own kind and on the job. However, a program like Building Pathways, let me go back, let me get my thoughts. So.
Take your time.
I know, I'm like all over the place.
You're good, don't worry
So
about
important, Shantae. Thank you for doing it, sister.
So when I used to I'm a natural nurturer. I used to go up to the apprentice, which was young white men on the job,